Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon. I am the host of the Breaking Free Show, and I am delighted to have all of you join us today. And I want to thank you in advance because I know that your time is very precious and that you are choosing to spend it with us today is an honor. So I want to thank you for that. And with that, we're going to carry on with our show because we have, as always, a slam-packed show, and I want to just bring it right to you. But before we do that, I want to say hello to Amnon.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm just fine. How are you?
Good. We have this routine going on, me and Amnon. How was your week?
Week so far has been fine.
Good. Well, Amnon is the producer of our show, so I always love to acknowledge him. He's sitting right here, and he's like, I don't know, he's my sidekick, I'm his sidekick. We just kind of kick each other. And then, of course, you'll see Chris in our chat, which reminds me, if you are listening in, not if, but as you are listening in, to please join our chat. You'll see where there's a little space there that you can put your name. You don't have to. You can just sit back and listen and enjoy. But we'd love to have you join our chat if you want to, and you can write questions, comments, whatever you desire to do. We'd love to have you. And remember, we're a community here. We're a breaking free community, and we're breaking free together. So anytime you would like to, you're welcome to call in to 919-518-9773. And if you don't want to use the phone, you want to Skype in on voice, you are more than welcome to do that as well. And that is to computers, that's plural, the number 2, the letter K, and voice. So my guest today is very interesting because it kind of got me thinking about my past and how I grew up as a woman in my family with 2 brothers and a father, very strong men in our family. And, when I was growing up and I had a car, I never took my car anywhere to be fixed. My father always said, it's time for tires, he took it. He said it was time for this, he took it. I never knew about any of it. And I never knew I was supposed to know. And yesterday with the Super Bowl, it was reminding me of how when I grew up, we had tickets for the Super Bowl. Well, we had tickets for the Jets on the 50-yard line. And we would go on a regular basis. But nobody ever explained the game to me. Nobody sat down and said, Marilyn, this is what the game is like. But they took me anyway, took my mother and me anyway, and I would sit there and she and I would go get to the bathroom and we'd be drinking hot chocolate, but I never knew the game. And I was even there the day Joe Namath came back, and there was a 45-minute standing ovation, and it was exciting. I could feel the energy, but I had no idea where the energy was coming from. And so it just kind of perpetuated that same kind of experience for me in the house as well. My mother took care of, pretty much everything as far as the decorating was concerned. But there was always men coming in who knew about the plumbing, the this, the that. And that's how I grew up. It was never was something that I was supposed to do or anything. I didn't even know anything about it. Until very recently, and I came upon 2 very extraordinary women that I wanted to have on the show because they're helping to change the tide of how we look at something and how we look at a lot of things. And as women or as individuals in general, there should be nothing that we cannot do. For men, maybe you can't have a baby. Okay. But what else is it that somebody cannot do when push comes to shove or even beyond that? So let me introduce to you my guest today. First, I'd like to welcome Michelle Weiss, who's coming in from snowy Pennsylvania. Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, I'm well. Marilyn, thank you for having me on your show. It's a great show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. And Michelle is the host of a TV show called Home Matters for Women. Yay. So this is going to be like car talk and home talk. So just hold on because we're going to have a good time. And so I'm delighted to have Michelle here from Pennsylvania. And I also want to welcome Kathy Hoffman, who's from Raleigh, North Carolina. She is the owner of a auto repair shop, Premium. So I want to welcome Kathy. Hello, Kathy.
Hello, Marilyn. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I can't think of 2 unique things for women to know about than our homes and our car. And it's very important because, like I said, was telling them before the show, I spend a lot of time in my car, as much as I almost spend in my home. So it's important to me to know what my car can do, what it can't do, and my home. I mean, it's my sanctuary, right? So why shouldn't we know about all of these things? So Michelle, I want to welcome both of you, and Kathy. And Michelle, you are the host of a show, and I know you have this extraordinary opening to your show. So why don't you kick us off with it?
All righty. Here's a little bit of the theme song to my show. Don't you know that home matters for women? Don't you know that home matters for women? Don't you know that home matters for women? Because home matters to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. So now we're going to get really started into the juice of the show. So can you give us a little bit of a background for you and just leading us into why you're doing what you do? Let's start with Michelle.
Well, I am a homeowner. I am single. I'm divorced, and I own a home. And one of the things that I always struggled with was when my husband and I were no longer together. He usually took care of all of the man things, such as calling for certain service personnel to come and fix various things in the home. And when I joined the fabulous company, Lancaster Plumbing and Heating in East Petersburg, Pennsylvania, as business development manager, I began writing a series of articles for a local magazine called Fine Living Lancaster Magazine on how women can learn more about taking care of their home mechanicals for their home.
It's a scary topic. It's a scary topic. Yeah. One of the things
that I truly believe in is very, very in line with your program, and that is breaking free and really learning and empowering myself and helping other women to be empowered about how to take care of their home mechanicals, who to call, what happens when the technician comes out, what are the signs, what are different things I need to look at. And so it came about last year. A friend of mine has a television station that she just started up several years ago. And she asked me, I said to her one night jokingly, we ought to do a show about empowering women in home mechanicals. And she said, that's great. Why don't you do a show? So I did.
Perfect.
And that's how it came about.
Perfect. Okay, we'll get into some more of that. Let me ask Kathy. So Kathy, some of your background and how you got into auto repair, because I can't think of anything that scares me more than house is auto. So tell us, how'd you get started in that?
Well, when I got out of college, I was looking for a job. My degree was in business and in political science, and I came to Raleigh with my husband. He came here for a job, and he's in the auto repair business. And as kind of an accident, I ended up working in the shop that he was in to temporarily, of course, to work for a while until I could get a job in political science or in business. And I ended up staying with that shop for about 5 years. And later on, we decided to open our own shop. And we've been here, in this location, we've been here 12 years.
Wow. So Kathy, what was it about your experience that you felt that you could, that you knew enough or had enough confidence in yourself to know that you could do that?
Well, I learned a lot as a child and as a teenager. My dad was very hands-on, and he fixed a lot of things at home, and he always had me help him and hand him tools and that kind of thing, and I always enjoyed it. It was a really special time with my dad. And so when I got to work in the car repair business, my husband helped me learn a lot because I was working in the same shop.
Okay.
And looking at how things are repaired and watching how things are repaired taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's a matter of just staying on top of the technology.
Perfect. All right, hold on. We have a caller, right? Hello?
Yes, hi. This is Diane Dayton, and I am the host, producer of Home Matters for Women with LCTV 66.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Yes, this is a great show. I'm enjoying this.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you. So you saw the value in doing a show for women.
Yes.
How come?
Most definitely.
How come?
Because we are vital, and Michelle is a fabulous host. She gets it. She's effervescent, and she's well-spoken, and she follows up and follows through all these qualities that are so important.
And the topic, why did you think or see the topic as being one that was, so valuable that you wanted to produce a show doing this?
There are a lot of things I don't know either, and I know we're not alone.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. I think it's, we don't. And that's the thing that I think, we need to pay attention to is, Kathy said she learned along the way, and I'm sure Michelle has as well. And maybe if I really look back into my history, I'll tell you, I learned some things along the way, but we get so afraid of asking the questions that if we just ask the question, we'll get the answer to the questions that we want. And there, obviously, we hear this over and over. There's no stupid questions. There's just no question. That's all. No stupid questions, just no question at all. So, I think it's really important that we learn this lesson with everything that we do as women, because we need to know these things. Diane, please stay on.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love
Sure.
to have you, add whatever you like along the way. Was there at this point any other message that you wanted to share with us about this?
What I would like to say is that when you realize the value of something and you know your skills and you know how to put it together and you have the follow-up and the follow-through and the drive that Michelle does, you can do anything. And she does it so well.
So, and that's a good point. So when you're doing this, like Michelle's might come on and say, and we're going to find out, if she's not the one necessarily fixing the pipe, she's just brave enough to ask the question and to have the resources. The same with Kathy. You it's a community thing. Just like Diane said, it's a partnership. You have enough of the to figure out what to do next, but you don't have to do the actual repair unless, of course, you want to. So, there's levels to all of this. So that was a great point, Diane. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So, Michelle.
Yes.
So in your work, what is the message, the overall message, and what resources do you use to get this message out there to women?
I think I started out with very basic concepts. For instance, a woman really can stand there for 10 minutes and look at her furnace and say, I see a big tin box, but I'm not really sure what's going on in here. And what I wanted to do at first when I started with the articles was actually, in layman's terms, tell them how a furnace works. Here's this box, here's what it does. And then when I got into the television show, I learned, when I got to Lancaster Plumbing and Heating, I learned so much information that I felt it was so important to get it out to women. And what I do on the show is to bring people, experts, local experts, our technicians, people who really know what they're doing, and I bring them all together and I ask them the pertinent questions. What does a technician do when they go into my basement to check my furnace? What does a plumber do when he's checking my hot water heater? And to bring these people together on the show has really brought a lot of education and information to women that I don't believe they've seen before.
Good point. And Kathy, do you feel like you have to know everything about a car, or enough to be able to guide somebody?
Enough to be able to guide somebody, to know how it works and why a part that has failed, and what it does and why it's needed. Helps a lot to explain to somebody why they should spend that money.
Yeah. I like the idea of having women do this because, I think we understand. Well, what is it that women understand? Instead of me asking or saying what I think, what do women understand, Michelle, that makes what you do so important? Or what don't they understand?
I think women understand, first of all, as home caretakers, they have a right to know who to call, what goes on in their home, how to make a network of people who are going to help them take care of their own home. What they don't understand, they will as they get more educated and learn more information about how to take care of their homes.
Sure. I think the fear inevitably stands in our way of even getting to the stage that she's talking about. But when you think about how many realtors just develop an entire long list of go-to people who they can go to, who do flooring, who do this, who do that. They don't do it. They just have a list of people to go to. And as you are now the other thing is about being involved in the discussion. It's you're calling somebody to come and fix your furnace, or you're calling somebody to fix your pipe, or you're going to take care of your car. That you're listening, and you're involved in what's going on, so that it's an education and you're learning, and then you feel better about what you're doing and who you are. Kathy, what do you think?
I agree. It's not so much important to know exactly the workings of the car, especially in maintenance, because that's something that once it's done, you don't really notice that it's been done, but you need to know the need to have it done to prevent, major repairs or major problems. So sometimes you don't see right away, you don't see that the value of spending that money, and it helps to educate a customer on why they should spend that money on maintenance and not necessarily a repair.
Gotcha. Diane, I know you're listening.
Yes.
Was there something else that you thought you'd like to add at this point to what we're talking about from where you stand?
I admire both of those women and what they're doing. I think they're great examples, and I like their strength that they show, and they're teaching us all something, and that's always a good thing.
Right. Well, and you as well, and I thank you for what you're doing, because, people could take a look at this and go, what? Do what? Teach what? Show what? How do you take something that can be mundane and kind of boring and snazz it up, and put the bling in your pipe?
Michelle does that, and she does it exceptionally well.
Perfect. Well, I thank you very much for coming on, Diane, and I hope to have you join us again sometime.
Thank you, and congratulations. You do a wonderful job.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being
here. Thanks, Diane.
So I want this to be a time when anybody can call in as well, because if you have an issue with your car or you have an issue with your home, this is a great time to call in and get some expert advice on who to talk to, how to ask the question. What do you do? I mean, think of this show today as car talk or as home talk, with Michelle and Kathy and moi. I know nothing, but I'm listening, and I'm going to learn too. So call in and ask the questions. Let me start with Michelle. So what are some of the most important questions that women are asking or want to ask, and you're, through your show, giving an answer? What is that?
I think the first thing that women want to know is, who do I call when I don't have any heat? Well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to check with, you can go online, you can check with friends and family, ask them, what company do you use? And then call up company and make sure they're reputable and ask them questions. Any company in your area should really be able to answer the questions that you have. And if they're a reputable company, they will come out, they will listen to your needs, they will tell you what they're doing, how they're doing it, and give you a good information about the workings of your system. And then if there are any problems or any corrections that need to be made, they should be telling you up front, what the problem is, and what it's going to cost to fix it, and then give the option to you. And, then that really is something that makes you the decision maker and puts you in the driver's seat.
Okay. And how do you know? So because you've asked a friend or a neighbor or a family member, you kind of have an inside scoop on trust. You know that if you're not just calling somebody blindly, that you know that they've been recommended, that really, really, really helps, right, Michelle?
It does. Referrals are very good, and get a couple referrals. Ask a relative or ask a friend. Go online. Get a bunch of companies that you have gotten referrals on, and then simply call and talk to them and say, what is your price to come out and take a look at my furnace, are your technicians, are they screened? Do they wear booties when they come into your home? Do they roll out the red carpet? We have in our company, we have a red carpet we put out so that we do not soil any of the customers' floors. So there's these little things that you want to know about. And if you do your research and get some referrals, the biggest thing I say is, again, don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you have any questions at all about how to ask questions, I will tell you later how you can go to our website and ask Michelle.
Perfect. And that's great. And I want to say also, there's a lot of times that people are not in your own home, that you're in an apartment. And at the same time, knowing these things is important no matter where you live and no matter who you live with. So, I mean, if you have any questions at this moment, write them down and call us and ask our experts about the questions that you have. Like, who would you call for this? Who's your go-to? Anything. Kathy, what are some tips that you can give women in particular that are coming into your shop or calling you? What kind of questions would you tell them to ask any shop, not just your shop, but any shop?
The biggest, the best question I think to ask is, what is the warranty? What's going to happen if the part that you put on fails? Also ask about the quality of the parts. We offer a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on all the work we do. And we use quality parts. Price shopping is probably the worst thing that a lot of people can do, especially going online and finding on the internet, Joe's Garage can do that for $100 less. But what happens if the diagnosis is wrong, or what happens if a part fails? Can you go back to him and will he redo it for you? That's a big issue as far as being secure in the work that's been performed and being secure that you can get in your car and drive and not have to worry about being on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's perfect. While you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, while both you and Michelle were talking, I'm thinking to myself, man, I cannot wait now to go out and do this on my own. And I don't want to say it too loud because I don't want my car to break down or a pipe to burst, but it's kind of it's really interesting because I've never thought about these things before. I would just welcome my husband taking these opportunities over, but now I want to kind of see how I can perform in these situations without closing down and closing my ears and not wanting to be part of this. I want to be in control. I think that's important. Michelle, what were you going to say?
I think it's very important for each of us in our daily lives, and that's why I love your show, Marilyn. Breaking free in of itself means so many things to women today. Breaking free in our home matters, and breaking free in our car, breaking free with our jobs. So I think whenever you can take control and be knowledgeable, make informative and intelligent decisions about your home. And as you said, this is for really a man, a woman, an apartment, a home, anyone who wants to empower themselves about the home that they're living in or the car that they're driving. Just be able to get the information and to share that with other people. There are so many people that have said to us, I watched your show and I learned so much in just a half hour. Simple things, but sensible things. And so if you can get the word out, I think everybody benefits.
Well, the simple things that's what we're missing, because this is really not, I'm not going to fix the pipe. So anything I find out is going to be simple. That's even my husband isn't going to fix the pipe. He's just going to ask the questions to get a simple answer. That's all. And we're very fortunate today. We got the internet. We got Google, we got Bing, we got all these places to go to really get more information. Amnon, you have a question?
No, I have a comment.
Oh, you have a comment.
You all think that this is just for
good.
women.
This is going to be good. Oh, yeah.
It's not. I know, probably 90% of the men that I know don't know the difference. They know that there is a difference between a golf club and a connecting rod, but what is it, what is it, and how far would you go if you are not a mechanic, or this is not your livelihood? How far would you go to understand these things? Because there is a downside. It's a double-edged sword. I used to be in a car repair business, and I've seen people come in and tell you what to do, and that is very wrong. Because if somebody comes and says, "My car is not driving good. Can you replace the spark plug?" Yes, sir. But that may not be the thing that needs to be done. Somebody you call somebody and they said, the AC is not working. Well, you need a new one. Well, no. So the thing is that how far do you need to know? This is not the 50s and 60s when we could work on a simple car that back then if a pipe burst, you could put duct tape on it and stuff. Today, everything is higher pressure, and you can take a stocking and use it as a belt on it. There's a lot of these things. So
how far do you go? Meaning what?
How far do you need to be
educated
into the mechanics of what you're without being dangerous?
Okay. Kathy, great question. Thank you. That turned out from a comment to a question. That's what I love. Kathy.
That is a great question. It is good to find out the information about what you're being told as far as the diagnosis. But it's like he said, if your car cuts off at a stoplight and then it starts back up and you go online and it says you need a tune-up. And so we have somebody comes in and says, "I want a tune-up." We always say, why? Because if we tune it up just because somebody told us to and it doesn't fix the problem, they're still going to owe us for a tune-up, and they still have the problem. So we, back into it by saying, why does it need a tune-up, and tell me what it's doing. Has the check engine light come on? We ask a lot of questions about exactly when does it cut off. Is the car hot? Is the car cold? And that type of thing. And then we can back into letting them let us diagnose it. And then we can call them and say, well, actually, this is what it needs, and this is what's going to fix your problem. Now, if you'd still like to have a tune-up, if it's been a certain amount of miles and you're due for a tune-up, we'd be glad to do it, but that's not going to fix your problem. This other is what will fix the problem. So there's a way to back into that without telling the customer that just because they read it online, it's not true. So
that's great, and because that leads me back. That's great, Kathy. So that leads me back to Michelle too. Is one of the things, I guess, would you tell somebody in when they are interviewing somebody to do their pipes or their whatever it is, that you would say to them, well, are they asking you questions in return? How interested are they in what would you tell somebody? Is that something that you would share with someone too?
Well, I think there's first of all, when you're talking about the level of intricacy as far as furnaces and plumbing go, unless you really know what you're doing as far as plumbing, and again, furnaces, air conditioning, water heaters, they are all specifically set to be repaired and maintained by professional technicians who do go to school, who are trained for them. And so when you are looking on the internet and you think you know the problem, it's one thing. But when you actually call a trained professional technician to come out, which is what I think you should do, in order to really have a professional diagnose the problem, take care of the problem, I think it's okay to ask questions. But I think that if you're a non-professional, how much do you really know? And again, I really believe pointing people and to the right professional type of services always makes sense.
That's great. So when you are going somewhere, you want to go with someone who's been recommended, who you get a sense that they truly care about, your product, your service. If somebody comes to your home and to repair something, or they come late, they don't show up, they call and reschedule. Maybe that's not the person you want to do your job. I don't care what certificate they have. If they don't have a brick and mortar, but they have a good truck, what do you look for, Michelle? I mean, right?
Well, I think the number one thing, again, when you call, first impressions are everything. Does the person that answered the phone, are they nice? Did they smile when they're on the phone? We answer our phones, how can I make you smile today? Because truly, you have to be customer service oriented. The second thing is the ease at which they make you feel. Do they make you feel comfortable? Are you the most important person in their world when they are talking to you? Do they want to make you feel comfortable? Yes, ma'am, that is no problem. We can do that. We will be right out to your home. You get all the pertinent information. When our technician arrives, and this is what you should be looking with every service company, no matter what they do. Are they clean? Do they have a clean uniform? Is their truck clean? Do they smile? Do they offer you a business card? Or do they have identification on them? Do they ask if they can come into your home? And when they do they stop and say, now how can I help you today? And then do they, as they are looking at your equipment, do they say, now, this is something that I'm going to work on, and let's talk about this. And not that they want you to stand there the whole time, but they try to at least keep you involved in an overview of what they're trying to do. I think people in general see these people come in their house, go down in their basement, under their sink, and they're tapping their fingers or they're tapping their toes going, okay, now what am I supposed to do? So I think with a reputable company who is going to be transparent and friendly and sharp and just really make you feel as if they are helping you to be a good steward to your home, those are the type of companies you need to seek out.
So we're not crazy. We want the same things. We want the same people servicing our home as we do servicing our body.
That's right.
It's the same thing. We want the same kind of person taking care of our car, who owns a shop, somebody who cares about our car like we do our bodies and our minds and our souls. It's the same thing. We should not settle for less or think that we should. We have, and what we talked about earlier about men are no different than women here, because in some ways men have felt that they have been brought up, they've not more of a right, but it's more expected of them to be doing these things, when all in all, they're coming from the same place we are. Would you say that, Kathy? You're shaking your head.
Yes, I agree with you.
Uh-huh.
It's you have to be comfortable with the people with whom you're dealing. And feel, if you're not comfortable with them, you're not going to trust them, and you're not going to feel confident that their work is up to par, that the diagnosis is correct. If they're not confident and they don't put the confidence into you, then you're not going to be. If you don't get a good feeling from somebody, you shouldn't be doing business with them. and so we try to sit down and talk to our customers. We try to get to know them. We want to recognize them when they walk in the door. I like to be recognized when I go somewhere to spend money. And if I've done business with somebody over and over, then I want them to say, hey, this lady's been here several times. She's been a good customer. Or if I'm the first one in the door, if it's the first time in the door, I want them to say, we want to make her our customer. We want to make her come back. We want her to want to come back to us. We want her to bring her friends and her family. So it's like you were saying about Michelle was saying, referral is the best thing out there. And when somebody refers us to their friends or their family, that's the highest compliment. And we have to earn that.
It's so interesting because I just had this thing in this moment. I kind of, when we started this, kind of saw Michelle and Kathy similar, But now I'm seeing now the role is shifting a little bit. Now I'm seeing Kathy more in who Michelle is talking about. Kathy is now the person. Her business is now the kind of business that you want in your home that Michelle is describing. So they're out there, right? What were you going to say? And Michelle, and I want to make another comment. I just want to make a comment. I know that there's some noise coming from where Kathy is, but that she is at her home, at her place of business. I was going to say her home, but that's true. Her place of business. And we all respect that. We're going to do whatever we have to do from wherever we have to do it. And so I honor Kathy being where she is. I honor Michelle because she's stuck in the snow and she's where she is. And so we are going to do exactly what we have to do regardless. So bear with the noise.
Yeah, I'm
Michelle,
sorry about
no,
that.
don't be sorry. It is what it is. Michelle, what were you going to say, honey? I saw you had something you wanted to add to what we were just talking about.
I totally agree with Kathy. I think Kathy's company, from the way she describes it, is exactly the kind of things that you need to look for. And again, men, women, homeowner, not homeowner, anybody who is looking to find a good company. Once you find a good company, once you find that reputable company who has integrity, who has earned your trust, who has done everything to make you feel comfortable, done a good job, made you feel as if you've got good value for your money, you will stay with them. Kathy, we have customers that have been with us for 20, 30, and 40 years. Now, our company's been in business. This year, we celebrate 110 years. We're the oldest plumbing and heating company continuously run in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So we are every day, every single day, we remind ourselves to bring our A game to the table, to make our customers feel as if they're the most important people in the world that day. And when you do your very best and you stand by your services and you give people the kind of respect and knowledge and talents that they want and deserve, you develop a loyal customer base.
Chris has a question on the chat, so and this is for Kathy. She says, I have a question for Kathy. We own a Kia van that has a front left blinker light that we constantly have to replace because it keeps burning out. Does this indicate a more complicated electrical issue with the car? Do you know that answer?
It's something that we would certainly look at for her. It indicates to me that there's some type of something going on in the socket itself that's getting too hot, or there's a bad connection there, more so than a wiring issue that's that's goes way back. I don't think it's a major issue. I think it's more something right in that housing or in that turn signal assembly itself, more so than farther back in the car.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris, for your question. And that just brings me to this again. If you have a question of where do I go, how do I get there, who do I ask, I have this thing going on at home, what would you suggest I do, who do you suggest I ask? Because that's what Michelle does. I mean, Michelle is a resource of the hows you take care of these things. And Kathy, is about the car. So if you have any questions, feel free to call us now, 919-518-9773, or computers, that's plural, the number 2, SK Voice. So, Michelle, the kinds we talked about plumbing, so what other kinds of really good juicy tips can you give us, men and women?
Well, on my show, and it's a great half hour filled with a lot of different things. There's different segments. One of the things I love to tell people to do is go to their, not necessarily maybe Lowe's or Home Depot, but go to a plumbing wholesaler. I have a segment on the show called Bling for the Day. It's not really bling jewelry, it's bling for your home, where we look at really cool shower heads and kitchen faucets that you don't even have to touch anymore. We had our current show right now is in all about toilets. Let's get this potty started is what I'm saying for that section. You wouldn't believe, really, so many things for your home that are really, really cool. Get out there, take a look at them. And these are quality products, again, that what you will do is you'll pick them out, you'll call your plumber, the plumber will come, he'll order them, he'll install them for you. Complete bathroom remodeling. Winter's the time to do it. The other thing that you want to do, and another segment that we have, is safety tips of the day, where we have a local president of insurance company tell us all about safety tips. Not plugging in too many plugs into your safety strip. Don't let candles burn, after you've gone to bed. Sensible things, but again, there's so many things that you can learn and so many simple tips that you can get. It's just a matter of asking and watching, and that's what I love to do. I love to bring, again, experts to the people so that they know what to do and how to ask for it.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about my toilet. So what are the areas that you cover? Toilets? I mean, just in what you teach or what you communicate about. Toilets. What else?
Oh, yeah, hot water heaters and toilets and beautiful shower heads and sinks, kitchen sinks, kitchen faucets, water conditioning, plumbing, anything to do with, whether you're taking a shower or you're, taking care of your hose faucet in the winter. How many people do you know that actually turn the water off to their outdoor hose faucet to prevent it from freezing over the winter? Well, a lot of people didn't know that, so we had that in the show as well.
Excuse me, Kathy. Thank you, Michelle. I'm coming back to you, too. I just want to, there's so many things I want to ask. Kathy, somebody just asked if you have a shop dog or a shop cat. I said a shop dog.
We foster for a rescue group.
Oh,
so we all have the fosters here.
Okay. So what, and I'm going to go back and forth now between some questions. So, Kathy, what kind of things can you tell us that are, take us from the simplest things we can do for our car to the next thing? What kind of things can you teach us right now about our car that would help us all?
Well, the major thing, and this is one thing that we harp on with our customers over and over, is maintenance. Your car is really the second biggest investment you have, and maintaining it is so important. And whether you bought it new and your owner's manual has your maintenance schedules, or you can go online and find them, or call us and we'll give them to you. We often print those out and fax them to people. That's the biggest thing. And sometimes just routine maintenance, we catch things that are getting ready to happen, and we can head them off and repair them, or replace a bad part before the customer ends up with a large repair, or worse, sitting on the side of the road. Even with cell phones, that's just so unnerving to be sitting, because you're just out there, and even if you can call somebody, you're still stuck until somebody can come for you.
Okay.
So maintenance to me is
how often is maintenance?
It varies by car. And what we're seeing is that a lot of the manufacturers have made it so that their cars, they say, oh, you don't have to change the oil now, but every 15,000. And what we're seeing on a lot of those cars, the customers are going 15,000 between oil changes, and then the cars get to be 150, 170,000 miles, and they're having really big problems because the oil wasn't changed that often. The manufacturer doesn't care now because the car made it through warranty period. So I really recommend on any car 7,000 is max, even if you're using synthetic oil.
And what about synthetic over the other oil? Any difference? Any better? What do you think?
It is better. It lubricates better. But if you're using synthetic oil, I still wouldn't go more than 7,000. Conventional oil is still 3,000 miles. Even if the manufacturer says, 7,000 on conventional oil, it's cheap insurance. It really is.
And do you recommend when somebody buys a car, whether it's a new or used car, that they buy a thing with the dealer, or that it's just as good to come, or better to come to somebody like you, build a relationship, and take care of your car?
Well, I'd like for them to come here and build a relationship. That's always best. But even with a used car, I do recommend that people buy an extended warranty if it's available. So once the manufacturer warranty is up, they have that extended warranty. And often independent shops can use those warranties. We can call them in, get authorization for the repair. The warranty company pays us, the customer pays the deductible, and we can handle all of that for the customer. We can't do warranties through the manufacturer, of course. If say Honda offers a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on a new car, they have to go back to Honda. But once that 3 years and 36,000 is up and they move into the extended warranty, then we can use those and call those in for authorization. If you use those one time, it usually pays for itself.
I never realized you could do that. That's great. It's amazing what you can make a show out of, isn't it, everybody? I mean, it's just amazing. These are the things, when we talked about earlier, we talked about simplicity. Well, these are the things that make, we've had shows that have been like, hold on to your seat, everybody, because we're like going on this ride. But then we'll have a show like this, which is just smooth and easy and pretty and just simple and powerful, because we're learning things that when I walk out of here, I am not the same Marilyn mechanic that walked in here. Michelle, how about showing us your sign above your head?
Yes. This is our Home Matters for Women sign.
Cool.
A local artist did the caricature, and we are just so proud to be able to be on the local cable channel in the Lancaster area and enjoy immensely educating the public from that avenue.
So for those people who have joined us later on in the show, would you sing again for us?
You betcha.
Go ahead.
This is the theme song that I wrote and performed for Home Matters for Women. Don't you know that home matters for women? Don't you know that home matters for women? Don't you know that home matters for women? Because home matters to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that again. So we have a question for you now from the chat. How important is it to open up your cabinet doors to let your pipes kind of breathe when it's very cold and so they don't burst? How important is that?
Well, that's very important. And again, that's a simple thing that you can do. When you have to understand that there are a lot of sinks that are on the outer wall of people's homes. And certainly if you open your pipes, open your cabinet doors and allow your pipes to stay warm during the winter. Another thing you can do, though, and here again, that's calling in the professional, have the professional come in, and if there's something that's immediate, there are many different things you can do that a professional will suggest to keep those pipes from freezing, that you don't even have to open your cabinet doors. But in a quick fix would be something like that, absolutely.
So, Michelle, what would be some of your suggestions if somebody is in the market to buy a home? What kinds of things would you tell them to look out for or look for?
Well, the first thing I think I would do is always get a home inspection. I think home inspections are important, to have someone come in and check all the mechanicals, make sure they are, and that is something too that you can ask your realtor to get a plumbing and heating company to come in and make sure all the plumbing and all the heating and the water heater and everything is ready to go. And again, that's something that our company does as well. Any reputable company will be happy to do that. Making sure that once you get in the home that you don't have anything that's going to be a surprise and that it's going to cost you extra money. So I would suggest to do that.
And are those the types of things that you normally have to do before closing, or are those extra things? I have no idea.
Well, I think I would ask, there are very many variables when you go to buy a home. Some homes will say, we want you to buy this home under no conditions. There are some homes that require a inspection. I think all homes require some type of inspection. But as far as a home mechanical inspection, again, I think it's really prudent and intelligent for the buyer to ask to have that plumbing and heating and home inspection done by a reputable company.
So let's say it all checks out, it's great. But let's say the home is 20 years old. Is that going to show up? Will they say, it hasn't been, but it's still in good shape, it's still good to go? Is that something that you should negotiate in the sale of the home? Even if it's in good shape.
That I can't really answer simply because I don't have that much experience being a realtor in the realty world. I can tell you, though, that for me personally, in my experience, if I'm paying that much money for a home and I want to ensure that it's going to really be a solid, mechanically sound home for me, I would suggest getting a home inspection done by a reputable plumbing and heating company, yes.
Okay. So do you have any other really good tips we've mentioned several things. What other really good tips can we all do, today, tomorrow? Is there any other things that you have?
Well, we are in heating system, and I will say change your furnace filter once a month. Change your furnace filter.
Good idea. I don't even know where it is. That's another thing. I think I need a tour of my own house. I have no idea. I walk in, I don't look at those things.
Yes, different things like that. Don't ever run your dishwasher and go away, or your washer and go away, or go to bed. These things are just typical of what can be indicative of getting, leaking pipes and water all over the place. Again, there are good, sensible things that we all can learn and keep in mind. And some people actually write a list and put it on their refrigerator to just make sure that, when they go away, they turn the water off, different things you can do every day to ensure that your home is going to be safe as well.
Cool. Amnon's got a question, but
I don't have.
Oh, you have a statement. What do you have?
Your question about filter, where it is.
Yeah, where is it?
You know how your vents in every room are the size?
Yeah.
Look for one that is 10 times bigger. Somewhere in the house. It may be behind the couch. It may be, it'll be somewhere in the house. Sometimes it's in the floor. And if you don't see anything like this, then it'll be right on the furnace. But yeah, very important.
It's very,
very,
really.
And cheap.
And why would I just make my husband do all those things when I could be an equal owner?
Oh, make him do it.
Oh, no. But, I have to say, it reminded me of when, many years ago when I was separated, I moved into an apartment. And I honestly grew up, as I said earlier, I owned it. I grew up with my father taking care of everything. And what he didn't take care of, my mother did, or we had a housekeeper. I didn't have to do certain things. And I remember when I moved in, and this is terrible to say, and I'm going to probably turn red, but I moved into an apartment after I was separated. I had 2 kids, so you have to understand, I wasn't 10 years old. And I can remember, and I had a housekeeper. Because I thought, I'll separate, I'll still keep my housekeeper, and who knows. And then every time the kids went back and forth, she went too. Well, it didn't take long for me to realize, number one, I couldn't do that because I couldn't afford it. But nonetheless, she left, obviously, and I go to do laundry. And again, I hadn't done laundry. Because in college, I took my laundry to be done by the pound. You ever hear that? And when I came home, I never had to do laundry. So I have this laundry machine now. And it started whistling. And I had no idea what the whistle was. So I had a friend over, and I said, what's, he said to me, Marilyn, your machine is whistling. I said, I know. What is that? He said, when was the last time you cleaned out your lint thing? I said, what lint thing? Yeah. He showed it to me. He couldn't even get it out of the machine. It was so much in there. He said it was amazing that my machine did not blow up, because I could have made a whole outfit from just the lint that was in my machine. But now I clean it out.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't have a clue about those things. And it's amazing, with all that I didn't know, how much I ended up learning. And I think that's why this show was so relevant, is because I know how silly I was with what I didn't know. I shouldn't even say silly, but my experience wasn't there. So here you have resources. So this gets us to this point, because there is nothing and no place you can't find out information. So Michelle is a great resource, and Kathy is a great resource. Now, granted, Kathy is here in North Carolina, you know, in Raleigh. Maybe you don't take your car there, but she's a great resource nonetheless, and she's somebody you're looking at right now that you can call and say, what can I ask them? So Michelle, how can people find you, and what will they find when they find you?
Well, we would love for people to visit our website, if it's okay if I can say
this. Absolutely. This is self-promotion now, honey. Go for it.
www.mysamedayservice.com. And once you get onto mysamedayservice.com, you will see on the home page there is a Home Matters for Women icon that you'll click on, and you'll have links to our show. But more importantly, there is a link called Ask Michelle. And if you click on that link, you'll directly be connected to my email, and you can email me any questions at all. And if I don't know the answers, I will point you to where you need to be, and will help you to find out that information and for you to make intelligent decisions about your home mechanicals.
Perfect. Now, Kathy, thank you, Michelle. Kathy, how do people find you?
They can find us in Raleigh at 2000 Wake Forest Road. Our website is Premium IMP. The name of our shop is Premium Imports. So we're premiumimp.com. And my email is on the website. Even if somebody's car is not here and they have a question about what somebody else is telling them, I'll be glad to help them. Email me, call me. We'll be glad to compare what we can do versus what somebody else is telling them. Of course, I can't be certain of what they're being told because I haven't seen the car. But if they have a question, I'll be glad to answer it. But they can find me on the website's the best place because it has a direct link to my email. And I'm Kathy at premiumimp.com.
Perfect. And you know, and what Kathy is saying is she's like a doctor. You know, my brother's a doctor. I call him up. Oh, I got this pain here. What should I do? I have no idea. I'm not looking at you. And he's in New Jersey. But he can tell me what to ask. He can tell me, you know, he can help guide me. And it's lovely to have people like this that you can go to, that you're looking at Michelle. She's got dimples. How could you not go to somebody with dimples? And Kathy, look at her. You're looking at these women that you know you can go to and ask those questions and get great answers and get the support that we all need, and men as well. Feel free. They will certainly answer your questions as well because they're important. And for me, please, if you have any questions, click above my head, email me anytime. And as well, my blog is at thebreakingfreeshow.com. You can find a blog every week there about our shows and thoughts and inspirations that we come up with. And our show notes will be posted at thebreakingfreeshow.com website as well. So look for that in a couple of days, 2 days probably, by the time we get it all together and post it. And with that, I want to wish you all a wonderful, wonderful day. Make every place you go your haven, your home, your car, every place you own. Make it what you own. It's yours. Have ownership in it. I want to thank you all for being here, and thanks for sharing your time. Michelle and Kathy.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Amnon. Bye. Thank you.
are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.